orange ginger cake spells and screams the autumn weather, and it's perfect for a tea time snack. The subtle flavor of orange with the bittersweet memories that it brings is perfect to enjoy. Firstly, I'm just going to take about 10 grams of sugar and scatter it on a big pan. To that, I've taken 2 oranges that I've sliced up, rind, pit and all, and we're just going to place them on top so that the sugar gets into it and gives it a slight sweet candy texture. This cake is a perfect cross between an upside down cake and a pound cake, coming together perfectly yet giving it that warm, subtle flavor within. To this, I'm just going to sprinkle another 5 grams of sugar on top just to aid in that glorious candied effect. Let it absorb right into the orange, giving it that sweetness, but at the same time aiding in the overall texture that this glorious cake is going to get. All we need to do now is put this into a preheated oven and allow it to absorb all the flavors really well together. 180 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes, and in the meantime let's get to creating the tea cake batter that goes and nestles right on top. This cake is like a pound cake and the ratios and the principles are always the same. So in goes 250 grams of salted softened butter, and we're going to take every last bit of it. Into that goes about 250 grams of fine sugar, that's caster sugar, and we're just going to let it blend and aerate and mix and emulsify with each other. Allow the butter and the caster sugar to cream, soften and emulsify with each other till it gets light and airy. This takes about 4 to 5 minutes till it emulsifies and comes together really well. As this is emulsifying, in goes a capful of vanilla essence, and the purpose of adding vanilla is just so that it balances out the overload of orange rind and orange juice that we add into this glorious creation. Sifting the flour is really simple. So into a glass bowl I've got about 250 grams of refined flour. To that I'm adding a teaspoon of the glorious leavening agent, that's the baking powder, and about a dash, about 2 or 3 grams of dry ginger powder. You just want it to give you that heat but not overpower the glorious cake. So all we need to do is now mix it. Technically you can sieve it once or twice, but this works perfectly well too. So just keep mixing it so that everything mixes really well together. Perfectly creamed and blended, and now goes in the rind of an orange that I just grated, and I'm just going to put that in, and that's going to give it that burst of flavor. We're just going to let it emulsify. Now since I'm using a blender, I'm putting in all the 4 eggs at one time. If you're using your hand and creating this like how normally cake should be, you can go 1 egg at a time and allow it to blend so that it doesn't curdle. With the eggs in, all we need to do is allow this to emulsify for a good 4 to 5 minutes till it gets light and airy, yet holding its extreme compound structure. In goes a cup of orange juice. So basically I've just taken 1 orange and squeezed it, and this is what makes this cake very, very autumn winter ready. Allow this to emulsify as well. Start off slow and then increase the speed for another 2 to 3 minutes till the scents are just worthy of creating this glorious cake. With the cake emulsifying and the orange juice just scenting the entire kitchen, it's now time to take out these candied orange slices, and they are just about soft, softening the pit and the rind, but at the same time retaining all the sweetness that the sugar has brought to it. We're just going to allow this to cool and line it in our cake mold. Light and airy is this creamed mixture, and now we are going to just fold in the flour, but in 3 parts. So first part going in, and we're just going to lightly fold it. In goes the second part. You can get the slight subtle flavor of the ginger powder, but as we wanted it, it's not overpowering too much. Mixing this, and this cake is pretty forgiving. You can go as liberal and as aggressive as you want to aerate this. Finally, in going the last batch, and we're just going to mix everything through and through. With the cake batter ready, we're just going to line a mold, place the orange candied slices right at the bottom, and pour this glorious batter on top. This batter has the sharp, pronounced scent of orange, but with the slight undertone that ginger powder is bringing to this creation. Out here, I'm just going to add about 2 or 3 grams of sugar crystals at the bottom, and this is going to give this cake a fine sheen and a glaze. With this done, I'm just going to get to adding my candied orange slices right into this 8-inch spring-formed mold, which I've lined with parchment paper all around just so that it is easy to demold. So you put these out very attractively in circles right at the bottom. Nestling some on the side as well, just to give it that beautiful yesteryear in the making, gorgeous creation. So I'm going to put them in the nooks over here, just so that they settle in and the cake batter holds everything well together. Any leftover orange slices are perfect to garnish on this glorious cake on top. Now, if you've noticed, I've allowed the parchment paper to have at least 2 inches above the cake, because while the cake rises, I want it to rise uniformly. So with everything set, now all we need to do is pour the batter right in. Just allow the dollops to settle in, and a little care must be taken so that the wedges on the side don't get dislodged or shake. So put this and gently allow it to nestle into it. And even if it comes off, you can still set it back in really well. Scraping off every last bit from the bowl out here. And the bowl is what's going to be my treat, because that is something that I have the fondest memories of growing up as a child. Going right into the bowl, and I think it's one of the most tastiest things, even better than a warm and succulent cake. Smoothing the top of the cake is required so that it bakes uniformly and evenly, and even if the slices are half suspended outside, the cake will rise and reach to that perfect level. In this goes into a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 40 minutes till a toothpick comes out clean. 40 minutes of baking to perfection. This gorgeous cake is ready. Slightly browned on top just adds to the flavor and the sharp flavor that the orange brings to this star delicacy. We're going to allow this cake to rest for at least 15 to 20 minutes before we demold it and invert it and watch the magic that happens. Having demolded the cake and just put it on a cake board is all that's required to enjoy this. You can go a little overboard and give it a fine sprinkling of some icing sugar resembling snow right on the top. Don't forget to share loads of love by hitting on the like button, and as I always say, don't forget to subscribe. I'm just going to go and dig in straight into this.